Okay, you're good to go.
Okay. I would like to call the meeting of the St. Louis County Board of Zoning Adjustment to order. The board members present today are Angelia Bills, Chair, Justin Randall, Vice Chair, and Vincent Nutt, Member. The Department of Planning staff members are Debbie Nesbitt, Abby Freudel, Abiola Adesana, and Gretchen Arnold. Also on the call is John Burford from the County Counsel's Office. First, I'd like to offer into the record the affidavit of publication pertaining to today's meeting, November 1st, 2023. The board hereby takes official notice of and admits into evidence on the record the St. Louis County Zoning Ordinance, Chapter 1003, St. Louis County Revised Ordinance 1974 as amended, and Chapter 1004, St. Louis County Revised Ordinance 1974 as amended. Next, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the minutes of the previous BZA meeting of October 18th, 2023.
Move to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Passes. This meeting is conducted as a teleconference and is recorded. The planning staff will read each request into the record and present technical advice to the board if needed. The petitioner will be unmuted, state their name, and make a brief presentation to the board explaining the reason and hardship for the requested variance. The board will not consider financial hardships. Board members may ask questions to clarify the facts. When the board is satisfied with the material presented, the chairperson will then ask if there is anyone in favor or opposition to the request. To do so, click the hand next to your name if any comments were submitted. Staff will read them into the record. Before a call for the vote, the petitioner may request a continuance in order to bring in additional documentation. The board may also request a continuance to gather additional information or for a visit to the site. Once comments have been heard, the chairperson will call for a vote. At that time, the discussion is ended. No further discussion is permitted. The board will generally make a decision today. If a variance is approved, the petitioner has 6 months to obtain the necessary permits or establish the use requested, or the variance will expire. The petitioner or any interested party has the right of appeal to the St. Louis County Circuit Court. Paperwork indicating the board's decision will be mailed to the petitioner.
All right, and it does look like the representative for the first petition is now on the call. So starting out with 68-23, James Derrida is a request for an exception to allow the construction of a 30-foot by 30-foot detached garage/storage building, which will be a second accessory structure on the property, maintaining an existing structure of 20 feet by 30 feet, and combined will be over 1,000 square feet in size at 4579 Mattis Road, as required by Section 4 of the R3 Residence District Regulations of the St. Louis County Zoning Ordinance. James, I'm going to request for you to unmute. Please just state your first and last name for the record, and then feel free to present to the board.
My last name is Derrida, that's Daerda. My address is 4579 Mattis Road, St. Louis, Missouri, 63128. The exception, when we originally looked for doing a permit for putting this building up, I was not aware that there was any ordinance of more than one structure on my lot. That didn't happen to the last meeting that I had with you on the planning committee on October 18th. And you said you had a delay to do more investigation on this. My lot is 2.5 acres. I'm not infringing on anybody next to me or behind me. Behind me, the 2 lots are 1 acre apiece. And I just need the extra storage for vehicles and equipment that I have. And that's the reason I want to go ahead and put this structure up. Have you heard me?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure.
Nope, you're good.
How is it for lot coverage?
Pardon me?
We'll see if Debbie might be able to answer that.
Lot coverage was fine.
Okay.
And I believe we asked the question last time, just for confirming, the vehicles that you're using this garage for are not for commercial use. They're for maintaining your own property, correct?
That's correct. I have a couple of cars that are classic cars. I have a total of about 6 cars eventually, that totally. I have 2 lawn riding tractors, 1 riding lawnmower, uh, snow removal, and I have other equipment too besides, I do my own cabinet makings and that type of thing. So I have just closed a company that I owned. So I have a lot of personal tools. Been a mechanic all my life, an auto mechanic. So I just running out of room is when I'm my problem.
And this may have been in the petition, but will that new garage be larger than the home?
Not larger, no.
Footprint?
I have no further questions.
I don't have any questions either.
Okay. Is there anyone here in favor or opposition?
I do not see any hands, so at this time I'm going to mute the petitioner so the board can take their vote. This
Oh,
is
I do. I'm
68-23.
sorry, I do have one more question.
Oh, sure. You can unmute him.
Will the old structure come down? Or will it be 2 structures on the property?
James, I'll need you to accept the request to unmute again. I'm so sorry.
No, the old structure won't come down, if that's what you're asking me.
Okay.
I believe he intends to take the tent down, and the new building will go in front of this existing garage, and
Yeah,
he will have it like a sidewalk between the 2 buildings, and he can pass through the new building into the old.
that's correct. The
My
tent structure
understanding,
would go.
yeah, my understanding was that the new structure will be the same footprint as the concrete. Is that what I recalled?
Yes, there's a concrete pad in front of the existing garage with a concrete driveway that goes to the front of the property.
So
That's where,
it will cover where that van is and the tent.
that's exactly right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Is the board ready to take a vote, or do we need for me to like mute the petitioner, or how do you want to?
Yes, we're ready to take a vote.
All right. The petitioner is muted for the board to take a vote, and this is 68-23.
Okay, 68-23, I vote to deny the variance.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is denied.
And what was the reasoning for the denial? I'm sorry.
I would just say that as having 2 additional structures on the property,
Okay.
along with that one being, over 1,000 square feet.
All right. Debbie, are you good on your end?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
Moving on to 74-23, Paul and Linda Bellinger. This is a request for an exception to the rear yard regulations for the purpose of constructing an in-ground swimming pool at 5633 Briarwood Estates Drive, maintaining a rear yard of 8 feet in lieu of 15 feet as required by the R7 Residence District regulations of the St. Louis County Zoning Ordinance. Linda, I'm going to request for you to unmute. And again, just please state your name for the record and then feel free to present to the board. Linda,
Sorry.
whenever, there we
Sorry,
go.
yep,
Yep,
okay,
there you go.
all right. So I'm Linda Bellinger, and just go ahead with our reason now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we live on a cul-de-sac. When we built our house, we're on the cul-de-sac, so we have a long width of our backyard, but it is short, behind the house. We have 2 neighbors that have in-ground pools, so we always thought we would be able to put in a pool. We only thought we had a 5-foot easement. So we had the pool company come out, and the way it's drawn, we are 8 feet, I think 8 feet 6 inches at the shortest point, but it's not the entire part of our yard. It's from 8 to 15 feet from our back fence. We have letters from our neighbors behind us and both sides of us that both are fine. They approve us getting a pool. They always knew we wanted to get a pool, and they do not have a problem with us getting a pool. We don't have the depth behind our house to be 15 feet from our fence without touching our house with the pool. So, yeah, and if we would move it further down into the yard, we'd have to build up a stone retaining wall, and then we would be probably too close to our side yard then. So that is why we are requesting a variance, and it's not the whole pool that's, 8 feet from the fence. It's just, part of it, and then it runs along level with our house and does become 15 feet at the furthest end of the pool. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Staff, can you go back and show the site plan again? Yeah. Perfect, thank you.
So is the hardship in here based on the specific model of pool, or is this the minimum size necessary for an in-ground pool?
We actually checked with him on a different pool, and he was like, there aren't really any others that were different than this one. I mean, it's just the hardship is we don't have 15 feet from our rear fence and part of it. But we only thought we had a 5-foot easement, so that's what we thought from the, since we bought our house.
It is an irregular shaped lot.
Yeah, 100%.
And just at the one spot is 8 feet, and then it jumps to 11 on within a few feet of that.
And I guess does on the, if you go back to that one sheet that's got the yeah, that one, you guys consider the concrete as part of the pool as well?
No, we measure an in-ground pool is measured from the water's edge.
So is that even 8 feet at that point? I can't quite read what that.
I think the green line comes across right at the water's edge.
Yeah, give or take. I think part of it also is, yeah, some of this water's edge, but I think it could be, this was give or take drawn somewhat, not perfectly to scale with
Okay,
their
yeah.
drawing. So just imagination for us all there.
Understood.
So we have a neighbor who is catty corner behind us, and theirs is 8 feet at their closest and 13 feet at their furthest from their back line. So we never even thought it would be a problem to put in a pool. So
Yeah, it looks like where this, like, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but kind of
Uh-huh.
right here, this is where the water's edge is. So from here to this property line is 8 feet.
Okay, got
So
it.
then, but like right here where like it looks like a shallow end or a hot tub situation, it's like 11, and then
Okay,
it goes to 11. So it's just kind of really where this one area curves up, that's why it's hitting that issue.
got it.
And
you're,
the neighbor, yeah, the neighbors behind us, they signed a letter. I sent it to Debbie. I don't know, I didn't get it to you until today. But our neighbors behind us and on both sides both signed that they do not have a problem with us putting in a pool. And I know
Yes,
that,
I did receive those. Thank you.
okay, thank you.
And is there a need for a variance for lot coverage on this lot? Or
We don't consider a lot coverage on the in-ground pools.
okay, for the underground, okay. Okay, no structure above, okay. And there's no future intent to put any deck above this or awning or anything like that?
No,
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, okay, I don't either. Is there anyone here in favor or opposition?
I don't see any hands, so at this time I will mute the petitioner so the board can take a vote. This is 74-23.
In the matter of 74-23, based on the irregular shaped lot of 5633 Briarwood Estates Drive, I'll recommend approval of the requested variance.
I second it. Okay. All right, all those in favor? Aye,
Aye.
motion passes.
All right, 75-23, William and Linda McGuire is a request for an exception to the side and rear yard regulations for the purpose of constructing a deck and stairs at 4817 Crosswood Drive, maintaining a side yard of 5 feet in lieu of 6 feet and a rear yard of 13 feet in lieu of 15 feet, as required by the R4 Residence District regulations of the St. Louis County Zoning Ordinance and PEU Ordinance 18,070. And William, at this time, I'm going to request for you to unmute, and then you'll be able, again, just state your name for the board and go ahead and present.
William McGuire, 4817 Crosswood, 63129. The deck I want to build will replace the deck that has been there for 23 years. I want the new deck to be configured the same as the existing one because of the way my house and sidewalk is. It's the only functional way for the deck to be, so the stairs from the deck descend to the sidewalk. Putting stairs on the opposite side would take away from the only small remaining yard I have, interfere with the fireplace chimney that abuts the deck. The main structure of the deck does not encroach at the setback line, only one step of the stairs. That's on the south side. The stairs are at an angle, and it's just a small portion of the stairs encroach on that south side. The west side of the deck, it is slightly over the 15-foot line. It's cantilevered 2 feet out over the posts. So, it wouldn't interfere with any utilities or anything that wanted to do utility work there. And the sidewalk runs along there also. And I was wondering, how did you arrive at the 13-foot measurement that you have there?
I am not sure who put that in there.
Okay.
I mean, I wrote it on the application for you, but I don't know who listed it on the plan.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because, nobody came out here or anything like that. So I don't know if you would have done it off of the survey to scale or off of a satellite or what, but anyway, I put a plumb line down on the existing deck, dropped the plumb line down, and it actually is 14 feet, 4 inches on one end and 14 feet, 6 inches on the other end. So,
So,
I measured that several times. And I asked the surveyors when they were here if my fence, I measured from the fence. And I asked the surveyors if the fence was on the line, and they said it's actually inside the line. So there could be a few inches even added to that.
okay, so then you'll be fine with, well, let's leave it at the 13. That way you're covered. And you would need a variance anyway for the 14. So let's just make it 13.
Okay.
That way there's no question.
If I'm bad, I'm bad.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's about all I can think of, really. I've talked to my neighbors on both sides, none of them, they were surprised that anybody would say anything about it, or anything like that. Or, by anybody, I mean you guys, the permit or whatever. So the neighbors are okay with it.
Is it the intent to use the posts outside of the existing deck, or will you modify, I'm sorry, the existing concrete pad? Is that the intention to keep that existing pad?
There's no pad there.
Oh, there isn't. Okay.
No, there's just some decorative gravel underneath the deck. That's
Okay.
all that's there. They'll take out the posts that are there, and everything's going to be replaced. They're going to redig everything.
This photo is just showing the stairs, how they are existing with the side yard.
Can you can see me, can't you, or can you? Can you see
No,
me?
we
Can.
can't
Oh,
see you at all. No, not
okay.
on your
I
end.
thought you could. I was going to take the phone outside and show you what it looked like there, So I don't know why these pictures that are taken, I don't know where they came from. They have nothing to do with the
We
deck, as far
we
as I
send
can.
out a individual to go take photos of the site,
Oh,
which is
okay,
on
okay,
the application when you sign it. That's one of the things it allows for
okay,
county staff to go out to take a look. Um,
okay.
but yeah, as you guys can see from this aerial, there is the deck kind of up there, and the stairs lead along the side yard.
Right. It goes down to the sidewalk, the concrete sidewalk.
I don't have any further questions.
For the questions as well.
Okay. Is there anyone here in favor or opposition?
I don't see any hands, so at this time I'm going to mute the petitioner so the board can take a vote. This is 75-23.
On the application of 7523, I would make a motion to approve the variance for the deck pending the hardship that there is an existing location. We are right on the borderline of that area.
I'll
I
second.
second it.
Oh.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, the motion passes.
All right. 76-23, Stephen and Sarah Edwards is a request for an exception to the side yard regulations for the purpose of constructing a deck and stairs at 1108 Dogwood Lane, maintaining a side yard of 10 feet in lieu of 20 feet as required by the NU non-urban district regulations of the St. Louis County Zoning Ordinance. So I'm going to unmute Stephen and CJ. So both of you guys can just accept those. And then again, just prior to you speaking, please just state your name for the record.
Sure. So, my name's CJ Moss. I work for Chesterfield Fence and Deck. I'm the actual deck designer of this project. And just kind of an overview of what we're doing. It is a 18 by 10, so 18 foot wide by 10 foot projection deck, with a 4.5 foot wide staircase on the side. It's not quite a remove and replace. So it's not like a square foot or, foot by foot replace of the existing deck. Because the numbers that I have it actually just a little bit smaller square footage wise than the current deck that's there. And essentially the only thing that's really changing other than that is the stair location. Instead of coming off from a landing and going into the backyard, the stairs are now coming off the side straight into, I guess, what's considered the side yard, which is, I guess, partially what's causing the issue because of the 20-foot side yard requirement. As the stairs are, at their maximum projection from the edge of the deck are 10 feet from the side yard. And if there's 20 foot of a side yard, that kind of cuts out the stairs and the whole of basically the side of the deck, because there's still 10 feet of the stairs and deck that are in this setback. So I guess the hardship is the request to have the deck, I guess, more or less in the same location, and having the setback be 10 feet, or the variance be 10 feet instead of the 20 feet. And I guess Stephen can fill in any bits and bobs that I may have missed or anything he wants to add on to that.
Yeah, this is Stephen Edwards. So yeah, just as CJ said, we're pretty much replacing the existing deck. Footprint's changing, just those stairs are going out to the side as opposed to heading to the backyard. But yeah, overall, we're just looking to replace the deck because it's kind of aged and dated. We're looking to replace it with a composite deck just to make it less maintenance.
Okay. Is there a reason why the stairs aren't going to the backyard?
It was primarily a cost savings. If we put them out to the side, it'd be a less expensive deck.
I had the same question. That was my only question.
Well, he's also dealing with the easement there too, if he goes to the rear. There's a
Right.
10-foot wide easement.
And if we were to, do a exact replacement of the existing deck, there's a landing on the side of this where the new stairs are shown on the plans and on this plot plan, and then we're kind of still in the same boat. As it comes, 20 feet, that's, kind of cutting the whole garage there basically in half or so.
Justin, do you have any questions?
So, I mean, I guess if the stairs did go back out the back, does it get into that existing easement?
I would have to measure it, but yeah, I mean so if your 10 feet is to the edge of the stairs right there, you just go basically another one of those lines that's kinda at the edge of that bay. We would have to not only cut the deck back to where that bay is, but then we'd have to run the stairs either in front of the deck, say from a landing, or straight out. But then if they go straight out, you're into that easement, which was pointed out before. So it's kind of a little squirrely mess here.
Okay.
That whole street is hard to work with because it was left zoned non-urban. So that's why the setbacks are 20 on
Yep.
each side. But I believe years ago when they started developing that subdivision, there was a mass variance to allow the side yards to be reduced.
Okay. I think
But in this case, even though the deck's there, it still needs a new variance because you would be you're taking the old one down.
correct. Yeah, I think that was mentioned initially when we were filling this all out because I asked a question, I think previously, like how is the house built with the 20-foot setback? But then, like you said, that there was when they built the house, there was a variance. So
Are there any other questions?
I'm good. Thank you.
Is there anyone here in favor or opposition?
I don't see any hands, so at this time I'm going to mute the petitioner and their representative so the board can take a vote. And this is 76-23.
Okay, 76-23, I vote to approve the variance as advertised, the hardship being that there are a lot of easements and complications with putting the stairs in the back of the yard, so they will need to go on the side.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes.
77-23 Patrick Hannigan is a request for an exception to the rear yard regulations for the purpose of constructing a deck and stairs at 80 Nostra Villa Drive, maintaining a rear yard of 10 feet in lieu of 15 feet, as required by the R3 Residence District regulations of the St. Louis County Zoning Ordinance. John, I'm going to request for you to unmute. And again, just please state your first and last name for the record and feel free to present.
Hey guys, my name's John Harper. I'm representing Patrick Hannigan. Basically, he just bought this house back in August. It had an existing deck on it. somebody, he had an inspector come before he bought it and they deemed it an unsafe deck. So they wanted it torn down before they'd give him an occupancy permit. So the old owner is actually the one that had the deck torn off. And all they're wanting to do is rebuild it the exact same way, basically. There is the old one. If you see the boundary survey, I had highlighted the old deck is on there. Well, it was highlighted. It's that dark spot in the middle. It has a concrete pad underneath it. So they're basically just wanting to rebuild a new deck right over that existing concrete pad. And I also went over and I talked to the neighbors. They didn't have any issue with it. Their deck is actually about 12 feet from the property line. And they're just worried if we were to stay with the 15 foot, we went over every idea we could come up with. And that would only leave them about 7.5 feet of deck out of their sliding doors. And they wouldn't even be able to put, a table and chairs and be able to walk around it.
This home is on a double frontage lot, on a corner lot.
Yeah.
So that makes their rear yard kind of not very deep.
Right. And I thought, since they're a corner lot, I thought that was going to be considered a side yard. So we'd have a smaller setback, but I guess both of their neighbors are considered back setbacks.
Well, this deck will just extend over and your column bays will extend along the outside of the pad, the existing concrete pad.
Yes.
Okay.
And then that'll leave them a 10 foot to their property line.
No other questions for me.
Yeah, I don't have any questions with it being a corner lot.
Is there anyone here in favor or opposition?
I don't see any hands, so at this time I'm going to mute the petitioner. This is 77-23.
On the case of 77-23, make a motion to approve the variance for rebuilding the deck with the hardships being that the necessary structural needed for the pad and the double rear.
Okay, I second it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes.
Okay. Give me 1 second here, guys. I think we lost Debbie, possibly. So let me just write that down in
Okay.
case. So who was the second on that?
I believe I was.
Okay. And we said the hardship being just the need for the safety aspect and the
Double rear
the two front
lot.
yards. Okay.
Yeah, the 2 front yards.
Okay. Cool. Just in case. All right, moving on to our last petition for the night is 78-23. Brad Stout is a request for an exception to allow the construction of an 80-foot by 40-foot detached garage/storage building, which will be over 1,000 square feet in size, and to maintain and expand a gravel driveway in lieu of a paved driveway at 7 Skyview Way, which is also known as 6022 Horniker Road, as required by Section 4 of the NU Non-Urban District Regulations and Section 1003.165 Off-Street Parking and Loading Regulations of the St. Louis County Zoning Ordinance. So let me get Renee on the phone here, and then Kenny as well. Again, just state your names for the records for us, and that will help us out.
Okay, Renee Stout.
And there we go. And then Kenny, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. My name's Kenny LeMay.
And Renee, you accidentally got muted again, so you'll have to accept the.
Okay, sorry.
There we go. All right. So whichever one of you would like to present your case to the board, that will be fine.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and start. And unfortunately, my husband is in a meeting. He can't take this call, so I'm up. But we are getting ready to build our custom dream home, and I get a pool, and my husband gets the shop he wants. And we're going to be on just under 38 acres. And you can see there's our site plan. Yes. And Brad very much wants the shop detached from our house. And that's why we're applying for the variance.
Okay, and then you're also asking for a gravel driveway in lieu of paved?
Correct.
Okay, and what is the hardship for that?
Kenny, what did Brad tell you about as far as the hardship on that?
Long-term maintenance, because where the house is, the drive where you come in on the property is very far from where the house is sitting. So looking at the site plan, how you come in off of Horniker there, the maintenance of that road, and no one would be maintaining that. And I also think, not for sure on this one, but I don't know if anybody could possibly be using that road as well, or that drive, with easements. So just the maintenance of it was, it's a very long driveway.
So for the gravel, I think it would be required for it to be dust-free materials.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You agree to that, to have dust-free gravel?
So, Angelina, I just want to make sure we're clear. So the request is for paving and not the gravel. Am I correct in that?
No. So per the public notice, it is a request for them to do a gravel driveway in lieu of a paved driveway.
Correct.
And then the other one is for.
Sorry, I'll let you finish.
Oh, you're good. And then the other part of this variance request is for the construction of an 80-foot by 40-foot detached garage and storage building, which would be over 1,000 square feet in size.
Correct.
So it looks like, based on the site plan though, like the main driveway would be asphalt. Is that what I'm seeing? Yeah, that's all asphalt.
Kenny, can't see what you're pointing at on the site plan.
Oh,
The
you're
circle drive part, Kenny, on the house.
Correct. The
That's
circle
all
drive
asphalt.
and
It's
at
just
the
around.
actual.
It's just
Yep.
around the shop, right?
That is correct.
What about going out to Skyview? Yeah, Skyview.
That is gravel.
That's gravel. Okay, that's what I thought. So gravel from around the garage, the building out
Yes.
to the street
Okay.
will be gravel, and you're wanting white rock gravel, correct? Instead of instead of the allowed rotomill, or there's a few other kinds of approved gravel.
Kenny, can you speak to that? I didn't talk to Brad about the type of gravel.
So basically, when you put a gravel in any area, like when they do big gravel parking areas, you have to use a gravel that doesn't emit, when you drive on it, massive dust. obviously because, you know, driving down the road at 15 miles an hour, you're going to create dust. So yes, that's, I mean, and I think for just your long-term use of that, you would want that because of, you know, it just keeps the dust down and allows you to drive. So without, you know, throwing up dust constantly.
Okay, so you're okay with a dust-free gravel situation? So
Yes.
you could do rotomill or it's sea gravel like from Merrimack River, the brown gravel, and there's one
Yep.
other
Just
type.
not the white rock style crushed that, you know, when you lay that down, that will, you know, throw off dust.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And what's the total acreage of this lot?
22 acres is what the house will sit on, and then we have a total of 38 acres with both two plats.
Question for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any further questions. I mean, it's a big property and a lot of similar things out there, but
Yeah.
Okay, is there anyone here in favor or opposition?
I don't see anybody, so at this time, I'm going to mute the petitioner and the representative so the board can take a vote. This is 78-23.
Let's let them take that one.
yeah, in the matter of 78-23, based on the location of the property and the size of the property, I'll recommend approval of the variance as advertised.
I second that.
I concur, and I would like to add that they are approved to use dust-free gravel only.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for that, Angelia.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unopposed, it carries.
All right, that is all we had for you guys today. So whoever would like to, we are good to do adjourn.
I'll move. Oh, go ahead, Vince.
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
All right.
All right,
Thanks,
see you
everybody.
In
guys.
2 weeks. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.